It's clear how my baby's running this the block cause she fear what you do to you if you get dirty hands and veneer. What you do, what she is, little boy, I tell you this. If baby wants sit, she can sit. If baby says lit, it's lit. Got your bank account and that cute. If she said it loud, it's the truth. If baby wanna ride, she can ride. If baby needs some time, she got time. Got your bank account and that cute. Make it count, how about you? She would put you in the bag, yeah. Wouldn't even need a planet. If she wanted, she a magnet. They should let her name a planet. Everything she drop like Corona. Viral, make the world start over like I own her. She ain't about to set, but they really wanna throne her. Listen, she like bass, she like Hover. Self-employed, moving paper better than some Billy Boy. Made a choice on the regular, she bring a milli home. Click my phone, get my ass up, get a dinner going. Watch she out there, making sure that you all know. Baby wants sit, she can sit. If baby says lit, it's lit. Got your black account and that cute. If she said it loud, it's the truth. If baby wanna ride, she can ride. Baby needs some time, she got time. Got your bank account and that cute. She can make it count, how about you? She be always making money. If it's raining, if it's sunny, she make time to call me honey every day. Drop a couple bands on the cook, then you pay. Then a couple more on the tip, baby saves. Body's just the everyday, imagine holiday. If I get the 50s, then she get me holidays. Signing with the fly, if you meet her, know it's true. So if she ever asks you, you know that baby wants sit, she can sit.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. This is the second episode of Unapologetic with Mandrell. I hope you guys like it. Let's see who we got in the chat. We got some people already here. My man Don the One GQ. What's up? CJ100. Salute. Candid Ann. I know you're listening at work. Thanks for coming. E-Man. Hopefully I can get you on the panel later tonight if you're still available. Stephen Daly in the house. We ain't signing shit. That's my guy right there. Anyway, hope you guys have had a good week. I know last week we got off to a pretty good start. Thanks to everybody for showing up and supporting me. Book of Genesis, how you doing? Last night, I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation. That was a good one. We were talking about should people delete black boys before they're born. That was crazy. That was a crazy one to me. But tonight we got an interesting one. I'm going to be joined by a special guest here in a few minutes. Sir Hale Speaks is going to be here with me. Hakeem, what's going on? All right. Canadian-born Nigerian. Thanks for showing up. All right. Tonight we're going to be. I guess I can go ahead and get started on some of this. Tonight's episode, as you see, is going to be the image solution. Everyone's talking about all the time, talking about the image of black men, the image of black women, yada yada yada. What's wrong with our image? And you got some people out there who are naysayers who say, well, it shouldn't matter. Why are people worried about how I dress and how I behave and all this and that? Well, yeah, it does matter. Everyone who has an IQ above room temperature knows that it matters. Black people, we can't afford the luxuries that other races have. Okay? We can't afford that. Case in point, to bring it up again, last night's broadcast, at first there was a woman who was advocating for this, advocating for deleting black boys before they're born. And at first I thought it would be interesting to hear what she had to say about that, but after watching a video of her speak, I was like, you know what? There's no need. Because you have some people out there where you can show them proof to their face. They still won't believe it at all. No matter how much proof you provide them, they won't believe it. Princess K, nice of you to join us. Thanks for coming. And it was super dope. Hopefully you guys go back and watch that one because she would be an example. And I'm going to bring up some examples tonight for tonight's broadcast about the black image. She's an example of what not to do at all. Good grief. I mean, what did you guys think of last night's broadcast? Y'all like that? What do y'all think of that? I mean, deleting black boys before they're born. Unreal. In any case, tonight we're talking about the black image. Let's start off where this whole thing started. We already know about slavery and the whole nine with that and all the lies and rumors that came along with that, stereotypes and whatnot. What you probably don't know is right after that, we were emancipated and black people were on the roll. We were climbing up. We were pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps, as it were. And one stereotype when it comes to black image is the whole thing with fried chicken and watermelon. Oh, black people just like fried chicken and watermelon. Well, here's the thing. Where that came from is, in order to make money, what black people would do is set up street markets. And they would actually sell watermelon during the summer. And they would stand there and they would sit there. They set up this whole deal and they would fry chicken. And they sell it to guess who? White people, mostly, because they had the most money. And so when it comes to things like that, a lot of stereotypes, white people tend to flip things like that around, something that we use as something that was positive. It was a means of getting commerce. And it's just amazing. It's going to go, I'm going to bleed into this later on about spinning a narrative. When it comes to our image, it's all advertising. That's what it is. And when you get into, we all know this because look at recording artists. There are tons of recording artists that'll tell us today how they wanted to put out positive music that wasn't about bitches and hoes and twerking and all this other stuff. But record companies didn't want them to make that music because they felt like, well, it wouldn't sell. But again, I'm all over the place already. But anyway, back where it started. There was a landmark film in 1915, silent film called Birth of a Nation. Okay. Now, what this did was this kind of cemented the idea that black people were not to be trusted. They were something to be feared. They were animals, brutes, and all they wanted to do is you give them half a chance and they'll rape your women. I mean, grape your women, and steal, and commit murders and stuff like that. The thing is, there were no black people actually in this film. There was a white guy who used coal. He used coal and smeared it all over his face and hands. That was the actor who depicted a black person who went around doing all these things. And then you add on to that, all black people do is eat fried chicken and watermelon, but we use that as a means of commerce. And you fast forward to today. The crazy part is, with our image, we damn ourselves. We wear, when you see people looking slovenly, sagging their pants, and then the ridiculous shit we do with our cars. I mean, you almost can't blame people for thinking what they think. But we can do better. I gotta admit to you people, tonight was gonna sound like a eulogy. It was going to be all doom and gloom at first. But then I discovered something just yesterday morning, that really turned things around for me. And I did a deep dive into it. And it's real. And this is something that I think that can be done nationwide. It can be done because it is currently being done now. This is the solution. It was a solution that I was going to present anyway, but that was going to take too long. I could have gone a whole show breaking down how to do this and how long it was going to take. That would have taken forever. It would have bored you to tears. So I'm glad I ran across this yesterday morning. But let's see. We're still waiting on Sir Hale to get here. All right. So tell me in the chat, when it comes to the black image, do you think that there's hope? Actually, hope of turning this around? Give me a 1 for yes and a 2 for no. Come on, everybody. Book of Genesis, Big Bad Bull, E-Man. Okay, New Grove says 1. 1 for yes. All right, we got 1 yes. Come on, not everybody answered at the same time. 1.5 for Hakeem. 3. Book of Genesis. I give you 2 choices. Okay, 2. 1 for yes, 2 for no. You put 3. What's that about? We ain't signing. He says no. There's nothing we can do. I can't wait until you get on the panel, man. I want you to explain that. I think I know where you're gonna go with it, but I want to see what you say. I want to hear you explain that. D. Nicole, she says 1. She says yes. All right, so we got more yeses than no. We ain't trying to say hell no. We ain't trying to say hell no. Okay, we ain't signing. Once upon a time, I thought the same thing. I thought it was impossible, actually, but it is possible. But I'm telling you, we ain't signing. It is possible, and we're gonna get to it. But for now, I'm gonna pull up my special guest. All right, you know him from his channel. Sir Hale Speaks is here. Let's pull him up. Sir Hales, are you muted?
What's up, good man? How are you?
There you go. Yeah, thank you. I don't know. I understand you. I don't mind you pulling up late. I understand you got a life, you got a wife, kids, and whatnot. How you been?
Man, I am fantastic. How are you?
I've been all right. Rough today.
Oh yeah.
It was one of those. Have you heard any of the broadcasts so far?
I have not.
You have not. Okay. Tonight's topic is the image solution. All right. And with this with this show, my goal is to find solutions to the issues that I bring up. All right. Now I gotta admit it. Tonight, like I told the chat and the audience, tonight it was going to sound like an obituary. Originally,
Okay.
it was. It
Why
was
is that?
bad, man. Because there's no hope, not really. But then yesterday morning, I discovered something that first piqued my ears. That made my, it makes your ears turn up. Be like, wait, hold on, what? And so then it got my attention, and so I eventually went down a rabbit hole, digging into this and looking more into it. And so, okay, so there is light at the end of the tunnel. This is possible. This is doable. We have to do this, number one, and then promote the shit out of it. Okay. Originally, I brought up the silent film in 1915, Birth of a Nation, right? That was the start of the whole, smear campaign about the black image. Have you heard of Birth of a Nation?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know what that was about. This white guy smears coal all over his face and hands and then pretends to be, the actor at least, and he goes out and the movie tells white people that black people are just animals. We're ravenous, we're savages, and all we're going to do is grape their women, steal, and lie. And white people believed it because at the time, motion pictures, that's really all they had for entertainment. That and board, games that they play with their kids outside or whatever, not much else to do. And so it's just propaganda, basically. Okay, and so then I got into I spoke a little bit about racial stereotypes. Like all black people do is eat fried chicken and watermelon. But what most people don't know is where that came from is black people back in the day used to sell fried chicken and watermelon as a means of commerce. They set up these street markets, right? These markets on the street, and they sit right there and fried chicken. And they sell watermelon, you know what I'm saying? And mostly to white people because they're the ones who have most of the money, right? So then that turned into a racial stereotype that all black people eat is fried chicken and watermelon. Mm-hmm. And that was the thing. It's about spinning a narrative. It's advertising. You know what I'm saying? And advertising, what you advertise is picked and chosen. We have to choose the right things. First, we have to come up with the right product. Then we have to advertise the shit out of it. Now, tonight I have some examples of good things, good images, and bad ones in terms of people. Like there's some people who do some present us in a good light, and some people who present us in a bad light. All right, what do you think so far? Can the black image be salvaged or recreated?
We're already doing it. So absolutely yes.
Explain yourself, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, Exhibit A. What we're doing now with the media is we're taking over and we're showing a whole different narrative that what was seen about black men being angry and vicious and lazy and ignorant, that is not the truth. That what you see, ladies and gentlemen, this is the new image. This is what we do. So absolutely it can change, and we're doing that now.
I would agree to some point, but is it enough to make a difference? That's the thing.
You know what? I said one of the things that I realize about us, just as a people, we work so hard to have a big push, and I don't think that we appreciate the small steps. I think it's the small steps that are the sustainable steps that develop over time. And so I do think that the fact that we do not have a medium like your show now, the fact that you are doing an entire show dedicated to this thing, like these are the things that actually help to create not only a narrative, but a new normal. And so for that reason, I say absolutely what we're doing now, we're headed in the right direction. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, we just need a lot more of it. And once I get this show polished off, I think I can not only help the Black Man Unfiltered Network, I think we can grow this channel to where it can hit as many. I want to maximize the amount of eyes that are on this kind of content, because I think this content is really important. And my goal here is to change the way people think. And if you pay attention to the way I do this show, like this is only the second episode, but if you pay attention to what I do, all I'm really doing is giving people things to think about and putting things in their head, as opposed to just you and I sitting here debating back and forth and arguing about something, and we just go nowhere. No, these are things to think about. For example, all right, let's get into the examples, right? All right. Exhibit A, Kanye West. Let's get this shit out the way because I don't want to spend all night on him. Okay? Because I can, and that would be a waste of time. Anyway, Exhibit A, Kanye West. All right. The defendant, Kanye West, is accused of being a menace to society, an embarrassment to Black America.
You said, oh, wait a minute. You say he's accused. If he is accused, by whom?
By me.
Okay. I want to be specific.
Gotcha. I'm the judge here. Okay. He's accused of being a menace to society, an overall waste of space, waste of talent, being a non-genius, a narcissist, a crybaby, and a perfect example of what a weak Black man is. Okay. Now, he is not a genius, number one, because he doesn't create the music that he does. He just makes remixes. He takes what's already out there and he just remixes it. Talented at it, yes. But a genius would create the music from the get-go, then remix his own stuff into something better. That's a genius. Someone who can create. He doesn't create. He takes what's already there. And then, yeah, I did this, and I'm a genius, and the voice of a generation. I deserve these things, Kim. Now, Kanye West, he's accused of being an embarrassment. An embarrassment. Okay, you as the defense attorney, how do you plead?
Well, first, neither one of us are the judge for Kanye West.
I am the judge.
Number one.
I am the judge. You're his defense, sir. I want you to defend this nonsense.
The second thing is, the second thing is, I don't see him like you do. I see him as a person who's got some issues, but we all got some issues. His is just on display. That's just what I see. He has done for a lot of people. He has developed himself. He has created a brand. He's created opportunities in a job. And whether or not we agree with his methodologies and stuff, what he's done is pioneer for a lot of people that they can be more than a rapper. They can go into business and be successful at that and go into design. And we talk about genius, right? We say genius is creating your own stuff. I say there's a genius in being able to synthesize what's already there and to make it even hotter. And that's what he's been able to do. He's been able to capture that.
That's not
and
genius.
I respect that.
I've been called a genius by many different people. And for me, I am not.
They lied about it.
I agree.
They lied about it. Kanye West
not a genius.
Is a genius. Then Kanye for sure is it. For us, they lied about. They lied to us. Him, he's a genius.
No, he's not. Anyway, let's not get stuck on this. He's not a genius. Okay, he's a billionaire, yes, but this dude had a lot of help getting there. It ain't like he did it himself. Y'all in the chat, cut the cap. He didn't do it himself. He was spoon-fed a lot of shit. Now, granted, he took it upon himself to put himself. He did the right. Now he's smart. He is talented. I'm not taking that away from him.
Objection. What you're doing is you're saying all the stuff that makes him a genius just to dismiss the fact that he's a genius.
No, that's not genius. Y'all don't know what genius is.
I think we forget how hard it is to become a millionaire.
No,
and then a 10 millionaire, and then 100 millionaire, and then a billionaire. The fact that he's done this.
It's remarkable.
Come on, we gotta give him some respect.
Okay, so it's Oprah. Oprah's a billionaire. She was one boy long before him. So is Bill Cosby. Are they geniuses?
In what they do, yes.
No, they don't. They created products that people liked and they bought them. Kanye
and made a lot of money for it, which I think is genius.
That's not genius.
It is.
That's marketing. That's marketing.
Well,
I bring this up because all it was is marketing. You can hire a marketing firm to do this for you, and Bob's your uncle. Now, granted, he did make good music. His album, The College Dropout, in my opinion, I bought that album. And then the next album, I bought that album because it was fantastic. The next album I bought was Speakerboxxx The Love Below by Outkast, and I haven't bought shit since. Everything else I downloaded.
Let me
Maybe I
let me ask
shouldn't
you
have
something.
did that online.
What
But
to you? What is marketing? Let's break this down. What is marketing?
marketing is just advertising. And the thing is, you put something out there enough times. The more you put it out there, the more people will believe it. People will believe the lie if the lie is told enough times. You know what I'm saying? And that lie then becomes truth. I have seen this in action. And that's why a lot of people who are in my job in the military, once you see what's behind the curtain, a lot of those guys come out of the army and they can't handle it because that's all you see now. You see the truth. You see the world for what it really is. No blinders. The veil has been taken off, and once it's taken off, you can't put it back on. And when you see this shit, how much of life is really a lie and how little control you actually have, it's hard to deal with. That's why a lot of them have to go to mental health therapy and all this other kind of things, because again, it's so simple and all of the answers are right in people's faces. That's why they don't talk to people. They're like, no, see this is how this really happens. It sounds crazy because they're passionate about it. Like, no, look. And the other person, say, if I'm talking to you about this, you wouldn't understand it. You're like, wait a minute, I just don't see what you see. What do you mean by this? And it's hard to describe, but it's like, it's so simple that it's extremely hard to describe. And it's like, no, that's the answer. And that's why you see them, some guys, like in movies depict this.
I hear what you're saying, but you're wrong. I hear what you're saying, but you're wrong. So it's not just putting something out there and people are going to believe. I guarantee you, Mandrell, if I set out a pile of garbage and said, hey, this is treasure, and I did this to you consistently for 10 years, I guarantee you would still know that it's trash. Can we agree to that?
Depends. What's in the trash bag? What's in the trash bag?
Mandrell. So it's legitimate.
People do it all the time. Here's the thing: people do it all the time. You got women on OnlyFans selling farts in a jar, quote unquote, farts in a jar. Now it's just a mason.
To be fair, I'll answer the question for you. You would not accept it as treasure because you know better. So that's advertising. Marketing is a bit different, though. Marketing is me getting into the heads of an audience, figuring out what they want and tailoring what I have to meet that demand here. Right. Once I get here from a marketing perspective, then I use the advertisement to appeal in a deeper way. Marketing, people who know how to market a product are some of the most smartest people because you know how to galvanize and rally an audience around a particular product. And that does take a spark of genius to do. You don't just figure out how to do that.
You hired what you should do is you do what Kanye and Jay-Z and all these other guys did, which is a good idea, I admit, is hire a marketing firm to do that. These guys aren't taking the time to do this stuff on their own. They're not.
They don't listen, a team brings to fruition the ideals of the leader. And so just because I can't do a lot of stuff, but I have the vision for it. And people who are visionary staff their vision with people who can make that vision come to life. It doesn't take away from the genius stuff.
Okay, anyway, back to the original point, because we can debate this all night. Now, Kanye West is he's not a good example. Is he setting a good example for the overall black image? Yes or no?
Yes.
For fuck's sake. You can't believe that.
I believe it.
Anyway, I the judge overruled.
How are you going to ask me a question and then dismiss my answer?
Okay, Chad, because you're wrong. Look, I respect it, and I understand where it's coming from. You're wrong, but I respect it nonetheless. Chad, so
let's break it down.
Is Kanye West setting a positive example for the overall black image? Yes, 1 for yes, 2 for no. While they do that, go ahead, Sir Hale.
So let's break it down, because if I can't say in terms of measuring relationship, because obviously no, just no,
and
affirmative.
That's the important part. Fuck his music. Fuck his billions. Look at him as a person.
So prior to this, I would say he was doing a good job. Just over like this last year or so, he's kind of unraveled. He's kind of unraveled.
This year, look at the whole situation with Trump. You're forgetting things.
No, I'm remembering things. I'm talking about him. So he can have his politics. He can believe what he wants to believe, right?
Yeah, but you don't come on camera and say, only reason why I'm running for president is to take votes away from Biden. End quote. He says this on live camera, and it was recorded and blasted everywhere. And this dummy gets investigated for election fraud because of that statement. He's no genius. Geniuses don't do that. He's an idiot.
You just don't like Kanye West.
Because he's an embarrassment.
That's just what it is.
I like it. Look, again, a lot of his music I like. There's other
if
stuff.
we break down what he's done, so let's do categories. As a family man, is he good for the black image? No. For business, absolutely yes.
That's the important part over here. His character. Now, number 2, Kanye. By the way, Kanye is found guilty. Done. All right. Number 2.
It's definitely a terrible ruling.
No, it isn't. He's out. He can't come. R. Kelly. Yes or no? Is he a positive impact, a positive image for the overall black image?
That's a no. It's a no.
Oh, what's so different about him? Isn't he a genius?
For his music, yes.
So what makes him so different from Kanye?
I think we're going to ask this question. I think there's some significant differences.
What?
Are you asking me this in good faith?
I am.
Because there's some very real differences in terms of why he's not good for the community.
I know the differences that you're going to mention.
Well, then that's the answer. So with that alone, then the answer is no.
So why, after we knew for a fact he had committed such heinous things, right? Absolutely unforgivable in my eyes, right? You still had so many people, black people in particular, rush out and buy all the music of R. Kelly. Okay?
I'll tell you why.
Look, this is their famed reason. I can separate the artist from the art. Really, you can. That's not what the rest of the world sees. They see that you're trash because you're supporting trash. You going out and buy his music, you don't stand for anything. You stand behind him, you go out and spend your money and put more money in his pocket, even though he's done those things. Okay? No, that means you don't stand for anything. And that's just one of the things that tarnishes the overall black image, is because we have a reputation of not standing on any kind of principles, morals, standards. As long as it makes us feel good, we'll go out and do it and buy it. That's the thing. No matter what that person has done, you justify it. Well, Elvis Presley married Lisa Marie when she was 14. But no, doesn't change the fact. You have to be different. You live in America. You don't have the luxuries that they have. And then look at Kanye. You're still supporting this clown. Walking minstrel show this guy is. You still go out and buy it.
So I see what this is. I see what this is.
You see where I'm going with it?
Yeah, yeah. But let's go back. Let's go back to R. Kelly. So a couple things. And I just want to speak to our community. The reason why we allow gifted people to get away with some of the most heinous things is because we got a history of that, of having violent sexual stuff happen to us, and we just get over it. And I think what we've done as a community, which we're stopping now, is we don't say nothing. It's just normal. Go, you'll get through it. You're gonna be fine, or boy, you're gonna be fine with that. And if you're gifted in the black community, you get to get away with stuff that the average person wouldn't get away from, because we benefit from something you're doing. And I think that we have to get away from that. And we do have to hold our community accountable. But that's why we see this perpetuated. The difference between then and now is this generation now is not standing for it. We don't give a care what you do or how great you are. If you're doing something that's hurting people, particularly people who can't defend themselves, then there's no defense for that. You've got to suffer the consequences. So that's the difference between Kanye, why he and R. Kelly, we can't measure them in the same aspect, not in this situation.
I disagree. You have to measure them with the same stick. No, it's about the black image. Are they good? Yes or no? No, both of them. You know, Kanye is too much. Then this dummy nicknames the guy who's with his ex-wife now. His name is Pete. He nicknames him Skeet. Skeet Davis.
What did Kanye do to you?
Hey, here's the thing. Wait. Listen.
If you're spending more time, you're spending more time on Kanye than R. Kelly.
We're gonna move on.
Like, reconcile that.
Chicago Rilla, what up, my guy? I'm glad you can make it. Hopefully you can come on the panel and talk some sense into this dude. I'm trying to school him now, okay?
Or talk
Listen,
some sense.
yeah,
Says it to me. Okay.
yeah, okay. Now here's the thing. Okay, Kanye, okay, nicknames him Skeet Davis instead of Pete Davidson, right? Forgetting the fact that skeeting is what Pete is now doing to the woman that Kanye wants. I'm just saying that's not a genius. Okay, you kind of set yourself up for that one, Kanye. So sorry. Moving along. The next, this tribunal will commence. Okay, the next in this tribunal, Justice Smollett. The following is accused of lying to the police, being weak, embarrassing the black community, lying to the black community, embarrassing the LGBTQ community, lying to the LGBTQ community, okay, hitting licks and pushing P. Use it. What do you say?
Are these trick questions?
No.
Like, are these seriously trick?
No.
like, what do we mean?
Can he be redeemed from this?
I think he can if he admits to the truth of what's happened.
Okay, that's the pushing P part. He went down. That's the pushing P part. He kept it playing. He went down with the ship. He stuck to that lie as they put him in handcuffs and walked him out of the courtroom. He stuck with it. I'm sorry.
So,
okay, so
I guess I'm lost. So we're using people who have done the most ridiculous things to determine whether or not they can be saved and if they're good for the black male image.
These are examples of these are negative examples of the black male images.
So it's a trick. These are trick questions.
No, they're not. I just want to see if you got any pushback for me on these, because these are the people who are pretty much the most celebrated in recent times within the past couple of years.
Jesse Smollett, I can't say he was like for
he was
Empire celebrated. Yeah, for that. But like in culturally, I don't think anybody was looking up to him. At least I don't think in that manner.
Okay, we agree. Guilty. Now, Will Smith.
Oh man. Okay, this is a good one.
Because here's what I struggle with. Okay, even His Honor the Judge, I struggle with this one. Okay, Will Smith, guilty or innocent?
Man, I don't know. Hold on, let me think about this one.
It's rough. It's rough. Even though we're factoring evidence. Okay, Exhibit A from yesterday. He goes on and does this interview and says, "Oh, there's no infidelity in my marriage."
So here's the thing. So in all of these examples, everybody got something. But if we take overall, I gotta say, yeah, Will is good. I gotta say yes.
Overall, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you do know that human beings are very much so a "what have you done for me lately" species. Let's factor this in now. Think about this long and hard.
Now you think about the way Will Smith came up, the way he was able to blend his acting with rap, with fashion, the way what he did for family television, the opportunities he gave people, the movies that he's done to put people on. His blemish is what happened on the Red Table Talk. That's literally his blemish, right?
And the rumors.
I mean, but they're rumors, all right. Like, name a person who's famous that doesn't have a rumor. But like, as far as what we can see that he actually done, the Red Table Talk was like the only blemish.
Sidney Poitier, Denzel Washington, Louis Gossett Jr., the list goes on and on. Deontay Wilder. I can do this. I can name some.
Well, let's do it. But I think, but notice, the guys you mentioned, they don't have wives that are as vocal as Will Smith does, right? So it's just it's a little different when we're talking about this. When you got two people who are both in the limelight and they both have attention. Of course, Will Smith has a lot more, but the situation is just a little bit different when you talk about those older characters.
Okay, cool. Now, I would agree that overall, Will Smith, because he's not in the trash yet, like the rest of the people on this list: Kanye, Jesse Smollett, R. Kelly. He's not in the trash yet. The rest of them are absolute gone, and they can never return. So, Will.
So that's the solution. They done and can't return.
I understand. Some people can't come, man. Some people will be worse off. If we're trying to build a black community, right, from scratch, and do better for ourselves. Some people, you have to leave them where they at.
What do we mean build it from
because you're gonna
scratch?
well, the black community, there is no black community. We have to make one.
Explain that to me. Explain what do you mean that there is no black community? Because I disagree.
There's only one that I know of that exists today, a black community. Okay. And it ain't the overall all black people in the country. I mean, what we have now is a bunch of individuals, because when you think about it, the task is so daunting to repair what's been damaged that it seems impossible. So what people do is they give up. They say, well, there's nothing I can do about that. The only thing I can do is build myself up, see about my family, protect my family, provide for my family, this, that, and the third, right? And they don't give back. Oprah's made billions, and she builds a school in fucking Africa. Not here. Well, no mental health support, none of that. Anyway, Oprah's a double agent, and she's out too. She's an honorable mention because I think it's well known that Oprah's not really one of us. So that's why I didn't even really put on the list. So, okay. Yeah, it's well known. She's a double agent. She's not to be trusted, and she can't come either. Sorry, you made a lot of money, and we'd like to have some of that, but yeah.
You have some very interesting perspectives on some things.
Guilty by association.
Very interesting.
That's because I know what you're up against, and this is the way you're going to need to think in order to prevent backlash and prevent them from stopping you, because those people work against you. Now, brings me to this one. Will Smith.
Hold on, we can't move on. We can't move on.
No, wait. Will Smith will say this: probation. This is tentative because we still have to see.
There is no black community.
No, there isn't.
That's what you said.
Yeah, I did, and I stand on that.
So what does that community look like to you? If there was one, what would it look like?
It will look like the example I'm going to give you, which is the answer and the solution to this, because this is my solution. Is actually being done in America. Didn't know this until yesterday morning. We're going to get to that. Hold that thought. Write it down if you have to. We'll get back to it. Okay. But this is something that can be expanded to on a national scale. It can be done, because given the place that it's been done in, what really there? If they can do it there, you can do this anywhere. Okay. So anyway, Will Smith's on probation. All right. Depending on what he does in the future, because Will, come on, bro, you gotta come. He's a guy who wanted a traditional relationship, traditional marriage. Jada didn't want that, and he just kind of deferred to her. And this is what happens when you don't lead your household as a man. Okay, that's an example of. But overall, I agree. Very good, positive image for black people. Very good.
Excellent.
That's why
the first. Listen, hold on. Before you say that, you get a hand clap. It's the first good thing you said all night. Very happy to hear that.
All right. Given his recent events, I'll give him probation. Give him that.
Okay. It's a start.
Bill Cosby.
Now listen.
This is a hard one. Look at what this think hard. Pause and think hard. Look at what this dude's body, not only his body of work, the donations to black colleges. He sent
Mandrell
tons of people
prepare the show and say, you know what? Let me get all the black people I don't like, and let me put them into a list.
I didn't say I didn't like Bill Cosby. I love Will Smith.
Let me talk about these people tonight. These are all terrible, at least now, terrible examples. Terrible examples.
How is Will Smith a terrible example? We just agreed that he's fantastic.
But you originally, that's not what you thought.
It is what I
based
thought.
off of my excellent prosecutorial skills and my ability to defend my clients. I was able to change your mind.
No, you didn't change my mind.
I did.
Will Smith just like my answer was my answer. That was my answer before the show. Will Smith, overall, yes. This recent stuff, bruh, that's why you're on probation. Chill. Keep your mouth shut at the least. Just don't tell us. We don't need to know. Okay, we don't want to know that kind of thing is going on. That's my thing with Will.
Yeah.
Will.
That part I agree with.
Will, focus up, bro. That's my thing with him. Shh. No,
but Will. People who are rich like that, they all kind of stuff. I just think that once they marketed it created a dent. It was a little dent.
Yeah,
I got to
exactly.
admit that.
That's why. Hence the probation. With Jada, no, definite no, guilty. Now, back respect to Brother Bill, we know that he's it's one of those things where I'm just like, yeah, it's one of those things with Bill is for me, okay. It's like, Bill, all that work over all those years and all the black people you got put on in Hollywood and in television, all the support for black colleges, and you were such a positive image and role model for so many. You inspired Richard Pryor, of all people. He was Richard Pryor's inspiration, Bill Cosby. Without Bill Cosby, there would be no Richard Pryor, you know? So look at the lives this guy's touched, all the good stuff he's done. Then you know what he was doing. Now we all know what he was doing. Yeah. So it's like, you know, he's gonna live out the rest of his life in shame, and it's sad. And for people who like Kanye, he's headed down this same road, but in this same road. But he's gonna have a different conclusion. I don't think it's gonna be something like that. It's just I think Kanye's gonna shame himself out of relevance. So, but Bill, that's kind of what happened to him. He has shamed himself out of relevance, and he can't come.
Hey, we ain't signing this right.
What we ain't
signing this right.
Bill Cosby is innocent and a great man. Mandrell, you sound like white supremacist.
Well,
I'm just saying.
I don't, not the second part.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Sir Hale. Now, Bill Cosby is innocent and a great man. I want to believe that too. We ain't signing.
Let me ask you something though. Why do so people can go to court, be tried, do stuff, and let's say in the eyes of the law they're proven innocent. Why do we still keep up that suspicion and that blanket of guilt, even when they've been proven to be innocent? Now, this is not just this specifically, but just in general.
Well, in general, because it's just like I said, you know, I said advertising, but I meant marketing. Once a lie is told so many times, people believe it. And also, if you keep telling it, the more you tell it, the more people are going to believe it. Now, in this case, with Brother Bill, is that I was all on his side. And I came with the excuse of listen, okay, there might not be statute of limitations of this, number one. Number two, there's no proof that he did any of this. Then the court system did something they weren't supposed to do in order to convict him. The judge was shady on this. That's how he ended up doing the 3 years in the first place. Bill made a deal with the criminal justice system. I forget who exactly, but you know, there were transcripts in the conversation where he would have immunity, he wouldn't no jail time. This wouldn't be presented to the public. None of that. Where he said he would give women Quaaludes. That's how we know what he would give them, because this is information that wasn't supposed to come out. Now, what I chalk this up to is like Quaaludes was like the cocaine of his day. You know what I mean? Like cocaine is known as a party drug. Everyone does it. And I think a lot of these women, you know, most of them did, if not all, went to these parties or to his house. They popped Quaaludes. They did what they were doing, expecting him to do them a favor and put them on. But he was like, yeah, I never promised you that. You just came up here expecting that. I think that's more so the case, but not to downplay anyone's experience. I'm sure, hey, if you were really taken advantage of against your will, my heart goes out to you sincerely, because that's another thing for me that's unforgivable. You don't take advantage of women in that way. So that's why I bring up Brother Bill, because of his body of work and the things that he's done in Hollywood. And it's just a damn shame that this is going to be a smudge on his record, because again, once you tell a lie enough, the lie becomes more real than the truth, even if it's
so. What are you saying that? Like, what are you saying though? In this, like, what do you mean by that? What are you saying?
A lot of these were lies.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying, but people believe all of them. And enough people believe all of them for this to make the impact that it did. That's why I asked you earlier the question. That's why I asked you earlier the question: are enough people believe in this for it to make a difference?
See, my thing is, I think that in the court of public opinion, so much is said, so much happens, and once we get enough of stuff, we go into our own heads and we we come up with our own convictions in our own heads. And I think we do that. I think that, like, I always do this. Let's say somebody says something about you. Let's say that you did something, and it got out to the public, and there was an outcry. Sponsorships, you said you don't have any more. Black man says, I'm dropping you from the network. You don't even have, you got to apologize, but you ain't got no show no more, right? And it's proven later on that you didn't do it. Do you think, like, what if that was you in that situation? How would we handle that if you were proven innocent and you had to rebuild your reputation? How would you go about that? And from by that same token, do we have those same steps for other people to come back, quote unquote, to the community as well?
Glad you brought that up, because it's going to be our next topic. Okay. Now, but your first question, how do we control this? If I'm innocent, but if I'm found to be, if people believe I'm guilty of something, everything's taken away from me, but later on it's found that I'm innocent, can I come back? That's your question, right?
Correct.
No, you can't. Very few people can. Even though you come out as innocent, even if though it comes out as innocent, people are not going to believe that. There's enough people who won't believe that you're innocent, even with proof, irrefutable proof. There are enough people who won't believe that you're innocent. They won't believe the truth. The lie has already been told far too long. Like, let's say, for instance, let's take OJ. Okay. He's innocent on paper. But if it ever came out later that he didn't do it, do you really think enough people are going to believe the facts and evidence that would exonerate him for it to make
But that's a different scenario. I mean, so the reason I'm asking this is because all it takes, if what you're saying is true, then all it takes for us is to be lied on. Yes. And this is what I'm saying. If this is what it takes, then it makes sense why so many people are lied on, especially when they're running for office or stuff comes out. Because if this is all it takes to keep a community from coming up, well, we are destroying our own solution, because there's no pathway back to recovery. So I think we have to change that.
Really? For some people, there's a path to recovery, but we have to keep in mind, some people are just damaged beyond repair. Okay. We have to accept that too. So when it comes to letting people back, rehabbing people, letting them back into the fold, you have to be very, very careful and very, very, even more selective who you let back in, because we are going to be judged by that, by association as well. And that holds a lot more weight than you think, a lot more weight than you realize, than most people realize. You just don't know. Like, yeah, they're going to look at that. Like, okay, yeah, but
I don't disagree with you. But Black people, we make it so hard for we are crazy.
Yeah, I said this earlier.
We make it hard to be a community because of all these stipulations we have, even in the face of evidence. I find it interesting. Like, we want us to come together, but we make it hard for us to come together. I think it's very interesting.
It is, but you can't let everybody in. You can't. I don't care about the money. Like,
no, so we agree on that. I'm just saying that we make it so hard. Like, we say we want solutions, and then we create our own barriers.
Yes, we do, don't we? Don't we?
I think we have to change that. Yeah, we have to change that.
I agree. We do have to change that. Absolutely. An honorable mention, though, is Tiger Woods. Honorable mention. And we're not going to get into him. That's
he's a great example.
Come on, bro.
Great example.
Of what?
He's a great example of a man, of a businessman. He's fantastic.
Is he though?
He is.
You let Tiger Woods in.
Just like LeBron James, Michael Jordan.
No, that's a different story. LeBron definitely can come in. Definitely LeBron can come. Yeah, look what he's doing with the schools and stuff. He keeps his negative stuff out of the media. You know what I'm saying? He keeps his nose clean, does the right thing, and he's doing positive stuff. Salute Bolo TV. That's one of my mentors there. Bolo. He didn't know it, but he is. But okay, that's the positive. Yeah, LeBron, yes. Now, let's go over some positive examples. irrefutable positive examples. Here's some people on the grassroots level I would like to see promoted a lot more, and perfect examples as far as females go. Okay. I would say Security Boss, TJ Rudolph. Randolph, yeah. Sorry about that. I would like to see those two promoted a lot more and marketed. I look at them, I'm like, we can market them. This, you know what I'm saying? If we're going to market anybody, it should be these types of women, them in particular, right? Do you agree or disagree?
I agree with that.
Okay. Now let's get into some people that, the reason why I brought up these celebrities is because these are people that are far more out in the public. This is what people see. They see this, right? Okay. Now, women, what would you say? Who would you say? Oprah's already out. We can't do her. She's no.
Hold on. What's your question?
When it comes to females that we need to promote, who do you got?
I think we need to do two things. One is we need to promote the women who are in our lives every day, who are doing well. Because
we have to make a national impact. We have to make a real impact. I get the people.
But we've done that for years. We promoted the celebrities, the stars, the singers, the dancers, the entertainers. We're going to have to take a different approach. We have to take a different approach. And I say we got to start promoting the people who are in our homes, in our communities, show them love and appreciation and push them out so that it's a more realistic example. And we don't get to say, well, that's a celebrity. Like, nope, this person lives in our same community, in the same home, we're in the same family. I think that's what we need to do. I think we've pedestalized celebrities long enough.
Amen. I'm with you all the way. And Chad, I'm asking him these questions to get his point of view. Thank you very much. I'll give you mine here in a second because I got to get people up here. I got to open up, drop the link in a little bit and get people on the panel and get their perspective. All right. Like I said earlier, Chad, this is going to be a eulogy. Not coming back. However, in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, of all the fucking places in the world, there is a new Black Wall Street. Unbeknownst to everyone. Mind blown. You can Google it right now if you want. Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Okay. This community has established a real partnership with its citizens, business leaders, and local government. They have provided passed legislation to provide affordable housing, to bolster generational wealth, and fixer-uppers are well appreciated in this community, okay? Over the past 3 years, leadership has voted for and passed legislation to inject millions of dollars in community investments. The community is both involved and on board. How involved is the community, you might say? They have, number one, there's a Black business on almost every single corner. Guaranteed every street. Every street, there's several, like more than 5 Black businesses on every single street in this place, right? There's a Black business on almost every corner. They have a Black police chief, a Black mayor, a Black state representatives, Black state senators, Black police chief, and the list goes on. They have actual, real life, no bullshit Black leadership, and they're kicking ass. Okay? This isn't some run-of-the-mills nonsense like, okay, a little house here, a little building there. Okay, let's build a nail shop here and we can sell eyelashes and care products. No, we're talking about these people on franchises, McDonald's, Starbucks, and all that stuff. Health centers, huge $22 million facilities. You know what I'm saying? This is the answer. This is my solution. I was going to do a big, long breakdown of this, but I didn't know this existed until yesterday morning. Definitely not in Arkansas. Never would have thought. I just kind of ran across the story here. Yeah, I just kind of ran across the story here. Yeah, when I was preparing for this show, I just when I was preparing for the show, I was like, wait, what? I just pulled it up. Yeah,
That's
you know what
awesome.
I'm saying? Thank you. Car Scar. Now that's genius. Fuck Kanye West. He's not doing that, and he has the money to do it. Him, Oprah, Cosby, they could have done this shit a long time ago. These black millionaires and billionaires, they could have pulled their money resources together and start pushing for this. They could have done it. Just like I make the big example of Tyler Perry. That is the biggest success story and the biggest example of black excellence that has been done possibly in history, definitely in recent years, most definitely in the past 25, 30, 40, as I say, 40 years. Biggest example of black excellence and black success is Tyler Perry, hands down. I used to make jokes about the dresses too, but once he did that, that was the biggest this to everybody and every naysayer, everyone who's ever said anything bad to him. It was the biggest middle finger you could give somebody. It's to succeed at that degree. Look how many doors this brother could open.
Yeah,
I don't care about it. Right. I don't care about it. Well, Tyler Perry's gay. I don't think he is. Number one, I don't see it. But
I don't
have.
I don't care.
You're right. I was getting to that. I don't care either. You do that. I don't care what you are. Well, the dresses you want, bro. I mean, look.
Coming from where he's come from, putting the people on that he's put on.
Right, and you look at
there's nothing but respect for him.
Right, nothing but respect for him. Nothing. Once he did that, I called my sister up and said, "You know what? I can never say a nugget. I can never tell a joke on this guy again." She said, "You can." She said, "Why is that?" Said, look at what he just did. Look at what he just did. I can't say. How do you? No, leave him alone. E-Man. This is my solution. This right here, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, of all places. People, we've dropped the link in the chat for the StreamYard. If you guys want to come up and give your opinion on this, again, this is solutions based. So if you have a solution, please come up and express it, because I'm going to get to Sir Hale's, what his solution may be. E-Man, you're going to be after Sir Hale. All right. What is your solution to improving the overall black image? First of all, we do this and do that Tyler Perry shit in Atlanta.
This is the starting point.
Right. And we market ever living fuck out of this. Everyone should know about Pine Bluff, Arkansas. The Canadian born Nigerian. If I had the music, if I had your theme music, I'd play it, man. The African drums and everything, the whole nine. I'm gonna have that one. There you go. Thanks, Sir Hale. All right. This is my solution. And I say we take this and we go to business owner after business owner after business owner, interview them, market all of it, market Pine Bluff, Arkansas, market all this. And apparently crime rate, not a thing. Not a thing at all. Because I looked into this. I think it's like for murder, I think it's like on a scale of 1 to 200, it's like 0.43. 0.43. You know what I'm saying? And it gets lower and lower and lower when you go to different categories, you know what I'm saying, of crime. And yes, this is my solution. And we market this. We make this the face of Black America. And we replicate this in every city that we can. Because you're going to get pushback in some cities. Some cities, places just ain't having it. Okay? It is what it is. But we got Blake Banks. So let's get this. Yes. And market it, because marketing is what got us the image that we have in the first place. And like I said early in the broadcast, where you got here, Sir Hill, you have record companies who have artists who want to do positive music. They record positive music, but the record labels won't sell it, won't promote it, won't even make it, because they're like, no, that's not what we want to do. That doesn't sell. No one wants to hear that. We know better than you. Shut up. This is what we're doing. This is what you're doing. They have the control. You know what I'm saying? All of this, it was marketing that got us in the situation, the image that we have today. We have to market something different, something significant, something important, something to give our kids something to strive for. This is the answer. This is the solution. Sir Hale, your solution, sir.
This is the solution. This is the solution. We need to market this. I'm just echoing what you said. I'm going to read some more to this Black Wall Street, but I think this is fantastic. I think it starts with things like this, but also I've got to bring it back to making sure that we promote our families as well, our families in education. Those two things go without saying. But this, in terms of vision and direction, this is absolutely a great example.
Yeah, exactly. E-Man, welcome to the panel. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for supporting me. I
How you
appreciate
doing today, sir?
Doing all right. Thank you for supporting me. I know you had some pushback for me on than the trial of some of these people. I think I'm gonna make that one whole wait. I think I'm gonna refine that. I'm gonna make that a whole show one day. I'm gonna come in dressed like a judge. have a trial of people. Oh, Kim K is gonna be on there too, Canadian board, and you will be her defense attorney. Yeah, Black David, you will be Kim K's defense attorney. So, E-Man, the black male image, just the black image, period. Black male or female, trans, whatever. What is your solution to it? Because I know you thought about this before.
Yeah, so I think we're already doing it. I actually believe that the black image is not as bad as we think it is. I think we have a really good black image. What we do is we just go to the worst. We can't say like we had. I didn't agree with Obama policy, but we had Obama and Michelle running as president, and that's not black excellence from an image point of view. I don't know what it is. So I think what we do is we point to entertainers and we forget that their job is not images, their job is to entertain. But when we look at, even if we want to go down to entertainer, if we look at Denzel Washington, we look at some of these people that we have very clean careers and they don't have none of this stuff. We ask, why is Kanye our hero and Denzel is not? And those are the type of questions that we ask. So, but I want to talk about this Black Street, Wall Street. It is happening. Memphis, Tennessee. If you ever go to Memphis, Tennessee, they got this going on. Atlanta, Georgia. I know a lot of people talk about Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta's being controlled by white people. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying with Atlanta, but don't believe the hype with that. We don't run shit there. These people, not only is it thriving, not only is it flourishing, we run it. We own it. And they're rearing their kids to take that, to be their successors as police chiefs, as fire chief, as being mayor. The politics, they are rearing their children to succeed them. That ain't Atlanta. Now, Memphis 10, it's got a long, I agree, on its way, but it's got a long way to go, bro. They got a lot of work to do in Memphis 10.
Well, what I'm talking about inside of Macon, Georgia, I'm familiar because I'm from Georgia, is a place called Freedom, Georgia. And 19 black families bought 97 acres and they built their own city. So this is happening. This is happening everywhere. The reason I refer. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought, E-Man.
I said the reason I reference Atlanta because that's something people know. Macon is right outside of Atlanta. Yeah. But when you really look at it, we're earning way more from a black man point of view. We're earning way more money. Mm-hmm. We're better providers. We're better protectors. And on top of that, we're leaving generation wealth to our kids, what we have never seen in the last 100 years. So when we talk about our black image, I think we're doing really good. Yes, we can do better, but when we look at it as a whole, I think we're doing pretty good as black people right now.
Gotcha. Thank you for that. But like I said, fellas, this was going to be my solution anyway. But again, people look at this as such a daunting task that they just don't bother even starting. I agree. Memphis 10.
Mandrell?
Huh?
So I think a point bears echoing again and again and again. We are doing it. I think that it bears mentioning again. We are doing it. The black image is absolutely. It is changing.
Apart from Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
Overall, yes.
Well, Mandrell, you got to remember in the business.
I disagree.
World, but no. And the reason I say this because in the business world, we're really going away from brick and mortar business.
So yeah, we are definitely.
So just because you don't see a black accountant with a business doesn't mean that like it's not black accountant. So here in Washington, it's not called black; it's called people of color. And when I joined this group called the People of Color, I didn't even know how many black people was really winning in my city. I'm
Well,
talking
you're in the Pacific Northwest, right?
correct.
Yeah,
But
but
we
see,
talking
that place has been. See, and I agree. That place has been wide open for growth, even though it wasn't small anyway. Especially Seattle, places like Seattle, it wasn't small, but that place has been prime for growth and develop. It's been developing and growth. Y'all local politicians have really done a good job of investing back into the city and back into the community so it can grow. I give this, it's been like that for 15, 20 years in Seattle. I mean, that's why it is where it is today. I got to give it, like, so when you say you lived up there in the Pacific Northwest in Washington State, I was like, I get it. I understand. I don't blame him. I totally understand why you would. I mean,
so,
yeah.
but Mandrell, can you really say after I bring up example after example after example, we gotta acknowledge the black excellence is happening. It's not something because everybody talk about black excellence like this is what we need to do. And I'm like, bro, if you really get into these communities, if like I sat down with an hour with this guy on the chambers, and he just pulled up this list just in one city, 1,000 entrepreneurs in the black community, real estate agents, investor, mortgage companies that's owned by black. Like I'm telling you, it is so much excellent going. The problem is we echoing what we ain't, and we need to start echoing what we is.
Right.
We're
And
echoing the marketing.
right. Hence I was just about to say that. Thank you, Sir Hale. Hence why this show is happening tonight. The image solution. These things are happening, E-Man. You are absolutely correct. 100%. Sir Hills, you too. 100% is happening. We just don't know it because of our image. Look at the image that's being portrayed out there. It's marketing. And that's all that happened to us. Like it was marketing. So when you get people who believe the marketing into local politics, well, they're not black people. They're not worth investing in.
See, I can't say that. I think a lot of us do know. I think that's why there's such a big push for us to change the narrative. Oh, absolutely. I think once 2010, 15 hit, you saw a huge shift in us trying to take control of how we look in the media. It is because we know it exists and we are tired of it being so that we're not. Right. So
but can I challenge both of you guys? Maybe not so you, Sir Hale. Change your algorithm. People don't understand. When I really start understanding how algorithms work, all these things that you talk about, this is the only thing I see on my feed. Because guess what? I'm any negativity.
But again, E-Man, the marketing job has been done so well for so long. Like that's why I brought up the fried chicken and watermelon thing. It wasn't. It has nothing to do with us really eating it a lot. It was something we used to go set up like little outside marks and everything, and it went over like gangbusters. It was like the McDonald's of its day, fried chicken and watermelon. We sold it to white people. It boomed, and to tear it down, they started a racial stereotype and made it a bad thing. The marketing behind our backs. That's why I brought that up. It's just people don't know because these things aren't out there. I agree. People should change their algorithm, but our image has been in the mud for so long, and it's kept in there for so long. People don't know these things. This is why we have to scream to the heavens about things like this and things like the things you're talking about, like all these other places where people are growing and things like that. Yes, that's why tonight's broadcast was going to sound like a eulogy. I mean, and then I saw this. This is so far ahead of everyone else, though. Like, because they're dug in deep. We're in the politics. We run that city. We own it. That's what makes this so much more significant than any other example. This is ours. All of it. And it's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Now, Canadian-born Nigerian, Black David.
Let me add to this because
also, David, tell them about Roland Martin. You want news, real news?
And I would add to that because what E-Man was talking about, what remind me reported that early last year about those families, and they were prominent families who they're married. I'll put it out there, They were a married couple who put their money together, pulled and buy those acre of land, which was a big deal. Now, that's just a small pocket community being created in Macon, Georgia. The one that you said earlier, which is I didn't know about it, I would like to see the link. That's another small pocket. I hate to say this. There are people who are doing things that many of those who had the means to do so. That's my wife. Yeah, here we that's my wife talking about. I'll let her hold on a second.
So, but I think we do got to remember that we're not the majority. We are the
Sorry,
minority.
let me finish my thought. Sorry about that. Tyler Perry, I studied what he was doing. I read his article. He took over a former army base that was meant for the Confederates and turned around using his own fund, but he had people within his circle who helped him that. Beside Oprah, I tear down PDD on top of that. That's the guy who had the thing called making up the band, but everybody he brings under his so-called record label, he's trying to destroy them just for the sake of making himself look good. Which I have no respect for that guy. LeBron James to build not only a school, but build a boarding facility. So know what Tyler Perry did also on his own campus and create a scholarship plus create business. There's other before him who could have done the same exact thing, but did not want to do it. It's all about themselves, individuality. What what Mandrell putting out there right now is something that I've been speaking about. We need to come together. We need to pool our resources. We need to pool our finance and do these things. Now, for the guy who won't call one of my a puppet financed by the Democratic Party, I'm not going to pay you any mind. And we do. I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to pay you any mind. You just watch clips here and there. If you're watching live broadcast from start to finish for the past 3 years, he criticized the Democratic Party. He tore a hole in them. New growth. I'm a logical thinker. I don't go by emotion. So if you're going to keep putting that out there, you could be my guest. Make yourself look like a complete fool. I could care less about you. I want about facts and logics. If you want to go by emotion, then you can jump off the boat. I'll pay for it. As I was saying, if you were watching his content, he reminded me of my uncle who was a journalist. I grew up around a journalist. I understand what a journal integrity really is. And there are people out there who want to be complete buffoon, complete good for nothing idiots, and don't do what he done. Before he came on CNN and TV1, he was a manager, he was the editor of a black newspaper. Check his resume, check his work. He create a medium so that we can broadcast our story and put light on it. If you,
Can I, it's just in this. Can I just want to interject this. I think as a community, like this is real talk. Like we got to stop judging people based off of their political party. Like that's one thing we just got to get away from.
I'm
Like if
getting
we
tired of
vote
it. I'm
different,
getting tired of it
you see what I'm saying? Yeah. If just because we
because it
vote
sounds like
different
they're
doesn't mean
idiots.
that
Like
we don't have something to add. I had to
because
put
here's
that
the
out
thing.
there because we do that a
I'm
lot.
glad. I'm glad because I'm glad you said that because here's the thing that I know people don't do. I watched this live broadcast from start to finish for the past almost 3 years straight. He criticized the Republican Party. He criticized the Democratic Party. And what people don't realize is this: he called people out when they do wrong. When you do right, he give you prop for that. The problem with people today, they're emotional driven without logic, no facts. For example, I've been hearing for the past 2 or 3 years, which is something very new to me, that they keep saying Martin Luther King Jr. had a mistress. But one forgot to realize that the FBI, who was run by the guy who established it, was doing a smear campaign to damage the guy's name. But you believe a white guy lied over a leader who was walking the straight and narrow path.
Yeah.
Like, if you can believe that type of
Well,
nonsense, you're buffoon
No, no.
yourself as well.
right. I think what David is referring to is when I was talking about propaganda earlier. And he's right. Like J. Edgar Hoover, who was a queer himself, was a member of the LGBTQ community himself, ran a smear campaign against Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. But the thing is, with those two, their voices had already gotten out there so far that because people saw the work that they were doing, and that's what drew people to them. Not only were they telling the truth, people saw their work,
But
and
you,
and,
but
and hold on, and it was too far gone. so they had to go. That's what happened with that. But go ahead, E-Man.
I just want to say this right here. It's funny. Typically, when a person get a level of success in the black community, we're really quick to kick them out. Like we always, what the one thing that I'm noticing is anybody who really create black ecstasy, we look for reasons to get him out of the black community. We try to separate him. And the biggest thing that I have seen over YouTube, people say, hey, Emmanuel, since you decide that you want to be able to create a certain level of finances, let's separate you because you're not doing everything that we want. And we're trying to control the success and what success look like in the black community. Like, stop.
Right.
We got to stop just because of what they believe that we're going to kick them out the black community just because they believe this. That's their personal belief. Nobody can tell you what to believe. So that's his politician belief. That doesn't take his blackness away from him because what he believes.
Exactly. Now, to your point, E-Man, when people like you become a success, you become a success. Whatever your vision of success is, you're either there or you're fast on your way there. That's something I can tell just by talking to you, right? Now, when it comes to someone like you, your expertise, I see what you're saying, and here's how people manage that. Your success is in your area, right? So is Sir Hale, so is Canadian-born Nigerian, so is we ain't signing. So whatever it is you're successful at, what we do is we compartmentalize you into that field. Like say you're really good with real estate or what or banking or whatever. Okay, E-Man, look, we need a bank. How about you start it with this? Here are your resources. Here is your deadline. We need it. Do your thing. You need anything else from me? Let me know. Like David, you're really good at IT. We're going to need network. You know what I'm saying? Sir Hale, you too. We're going to need network. We're going to need a cloud. We're going to need all that. You guys handle that. We ain't signing. All the stuff you do. Bruh, let's get to work. So everyone has their assignment. Whatever you're successful at, I agree. You don't throw people away for it.
I ain't doing shit without getting paid.
Right. You don't throw people away for it. You don't throw people away because of their politics. Damn your politics. Can you get shit done? That's what we need to be focused on, getting the job done. And also, incidentally, everyone in the chat and everyone on the panel, thank you for coming out and supporting me. I just dropped 2 links. One is from a YouTube link for it's entitled "The New Black Wall Street, Pine Bluff, Arkansas." The other one is an article on Pine Bluff, Arkansas, the New Black Wall Street. And seriously, people, we're not talking about just restaurants and stuff like that. I'm talking about if you want photography, videography, to get your tires changed, you want to buy a car, everything. Black people are in every facet down there. A bank, we run that. And the population is 80% black. 80% black. And again, crime, not really a thing.
Major, let me ask you a question about this. So is your idea of this where it's just black people or that black people are in a position of ownership and affluence? Is it just all black? I'm trying to understand your idea, because the way that I see this
because of all the rumors. Go ahead.
So let me show what I'm saying. So I want us to be successful, but I don't want us to be successful in the sense that it's just our corner is us, and we're not thinking about integrating, in the global landscape of business and life and stuff. So right. I kind of want to get your idea on that.
Oh, today you'd be incredibly foolish, and you'd be doing not only would you be doing yourself a disservice, but you've killed yourself before you started if you think you're going to do this on your own. This is a global economy. It's a global market. You're going to have to operate.
I think we need to push that message out, because I think some people hearing this could think it's just us black people and that's it. And I think it's much bigger than that.
Yeah, you're going to have to operate internationally. You're going to have to integrate people. But my point with this is that people talking about a black community. This is what I'm talking about. This is a black community. We have one that's complete. That's what I'm talking about. It's complete. We own it. Well, it's a whole city. I'm just like, yo, listen. I mean, again, Sir Hill, I just happened to run across this because, again, it was going to be pretty. But then I found this, and I'm like, yeah.
So I got a different message. I think we should take grounds in our current community. I think that we keep how it sounds, and this might be how it's trying to be put out. We need to move all to one place, and we need to have our place, and don't invite nobody in unless they bring their money to spend. No, I think what really makes a difference, this is what I seen in Seattle. They start taking ground in the community that they was in. What if Sir Harold take ground in his? What if we have a black mayor his? Or we have a black Senate here? We take ground in the communities that currently exist. We don't all have to be together. I believe we'll be more powerful.
If you, yeah, that's the thing. This would be, again, this is the blueprint. This is what we need to do everywhere. This is something we can do nationwide. Yes, you can operate business internationally, but make sure ownership is key here. We have to own it, just like here. And Mr. Bennett, thank you very much. The link is in the chat. If you want to come up on the panel, please do. We're talking about the solution to the black image, the perfect. And I found a black community, and this is the image we need to promote. We need to promote and market every facet of it. Pine Bluff, Arkansas, of all places on the planet, Arkansas. But anyway, we ain't signing. You just showed up. Give us a second, man. Let's let we ain't signing come in. We ain't signing. You have something to contribute. Thank you for showing up, and thank you for coming on to the panel, man. Appreciate it. What do you got for us?
Okay. Can you guys hear me clearly, or am I borking?
Yes, we hear you.
All right. So, respectfully, Mandrell, Pine Bluff is not the answer. I think there's two answers. The first answer is, one, we have to change our perspective. Like Eman said, like, black people are doing a phenomenal job as far as, leaving wealth for their progeny. As far as being educated, being in the workforce, all the things that you can think about to being productive, good citizens, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's more black men in college than are in jail. Whatever metrics you want to use, like we have that, right? And I think the perception that we need to change is the change of guilty until proven innocent, right? Black people in America are guilty until proven innocent, and even when you're proven innocent, somehow you're still guilty, right? With the other, like for Cosby, for example, he was found innocent. It was actually a mistrial, right? We found that witnesses were lying. However, he is still guilty. Now, I'm not debating the Cosby thing. Whatever you think is whatever you think. I'm just using that as a backdrop to show that black people, specifically black men, are always automatically in the guilty box, and then you have to fight your way into innocence, as opposed to other people. And even when you fight your way into innocence, you're still guilty somehow in a court of public opinion. So that needs to change first, right? Because that is a white supremacist attitude. And that's what I wasn't saying that you are a white supremacist. I'm saying that belief and that vision and that view is very much a white supremacist view. Secondly, if we want to talk about, to be honest, if we want to talk about black people and getting on a global scale of image, then you're talking about competitiveness. You're talking about the black version of Ford. You're talking about the black ownership of an NBA. You're talking about a black ownership of a cruise line. It doesn't matter where you live, right? The world is digital and global at the same time, right? If we want to talk about image and getting on that level, well, you need to compete, right?
Mm-hmm.
Toyota put out the Camry, right? They found their specific niche and put out the Camry. Now the Camry is the number one best resold vehicle in America, right? You got to be competitive on that scale, right? If you want to have black people looked upon as a group to aspire to, well, do you need to have global products, right? Asia, we know cell phones, computers, and video games, right? With the exception of Xbox, right? When you think of Asia, when you think of America, muscle cars, trucks, right? College institutions, the Ivy League, right? When you think of UK, right? We all have some type of everyone has some type of marketing culture that they have a niche for, and they excel at it and they sell it. Black people are too much like, oh, we're the shit, and you can't copy this. Just revere me, motherfucker. Just revere me. That is wrong. You need to have something that everybody aspires and reveres, and then you sell it to them, right? A perfect example, right? When 1978 China opened up to the world, American manufacturers came in, right? You had Apple, Foxconn manufactured Apple. Then a couple years later, what do you have? Huawei. Huawei is exactly excuse my language. Huawei is Apple. It's the Chinese version of Apple because the Chinese says, we're gonna learn from you, but then we're gonna build our own. MBA, we're gonna learn from you and we're gonna build your own. And a personal example, right? So I own an education company, and my education company is designed to help high school students, Chinese high school students, get into elite colleges, right? It's called a missions company, right? And we get kids into the top 30. And besides doing the essays and test preps, we also help them with extracurriculars. So I opened up a side business of a debate camp, right? And we operate in 4 major cities. I actually closed that down, and I actually called my university, and we opened up a debate tournament. So instead of competing with the other debate companies around China, I opened up my own league, and now everybody's my motherfucking customer, right? You need to change the game, and you need to put yourself in positions of power and to compete. And that's where you will change the black image.
Exactly. Exactly. This is exactly my point.
But it's not about living together or something like that. That is a very 1950s, 1960s way of thinking. Right.
Give me one second.
We ain't
give me 1 second.
I'm glad you just said. I want to add what you just said.
Yeah.
You said we're in a global market, global economy, right?
You have to have some competitiveness. You have to have a global
right. Yeah, we ain't saying it. No one is disagreeing with you at all. Like we do need it.
You said something very, very great. I just shared in the back chat of a black-owned auto industry manufacturer. The person who owned that company is actually my classmate back in high school in my country, who took over his father's business, which used to be a car dealership. Now they manufacture trucks and car. The first of their kind in Africa. There's actually 2 of them. And those 2 all across Africa are both in Nigeria. Black owned.
It's a nice website too. I'm looking at it right now.
I want to say I've been talking about this for the last week.
Something.
When I've been talking about this all week, and people been dismissing it. I hear everybody say the NFL is so racist. They say it's racist, this, that, and third, but we still, for us not to think that these companies don't really support the black excellency, we still support them. I've been telling Dame, so I don't know if y'all know who Dame Dash is, right? Dame Dash has started his own football league, right? And the crazy part about it is every time I talk to black people, he can't beat that. Nobody ain't gonna support that. So it's one thing to say on these platforms, let's do all these black businesses, but the one thing is, are the black people going to support it? Because it don't matter how many black businesses you have, if black people are not supporting that business and they're refusing to do business with blacks and going with the cheaper option, I don't think that this world or this
I disagree.
Have a regard.
I respectfully disagree. For example, I have a black business. 100% of my customers are Asian. If you have now, this I will tell you, for anyone who's starting a business, a black business, start out selling to other people. Do not sell to your own. They don't support. Sell to white people, sell to Latinos, because they will support you. Right? When I first started my business, it was an Asian old lady who helped me get my foot on the ground. So same thing with like Ice Cube. He started the big 3, right? It does work because when you're building the NFL, when you're building another NBA, you just sell it. You just sell ticket sales to white folks. Ticket sales to someone else. Black people, unfortunately, are not going to support you until you're proven, right? When other people fuck with you, then other people then your own people will fuck with you. Whether or not it's wrong, it doesn't matter. Understand it. Focus on what you need to do. And act accordingly. Period.
But that's my problem. No. That's the problem that I have. See, the problem is you tell us to go build a successful business outside of our community, and then we supposed to put our community first. After all these other,
no. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying put your community first.
I'm not. I know you're not saying that. We ain't signing, but for us to have a narrative, because this is the narrative.
It speaks to our mentality, though, and that's a real fact.
but it's we say this right here is we go out and we create success, and then we supposed to bring everything back into our community that didn't support us at first. I just that's like telling people business owners to accept abuse, and that doesn't make sense in my opinion.
I agree. Now, here's the thing, though. Sadly enough, because this was gonna be one of the points I was gonna make. The one that we ain't signing just made 2 points that we ain't signing just made. Okay, I was gonna bring that up in my initial outline for it, because I do this unscripted. I have an outline with bullet points I want to touch on. That's it, just to jog my memory. But yeah, internet as far as doing international business, yeah, we need that. Airlines, car dealerships, or automobile manufacturing, like you said. But also the most big one, I agree with him. And email, you're both right. Sadly enough, email says sadly enough, black people won't buy your products until you're proven. We make television networks huge. Like WB, we made that huge, which is now the CW. We made when they rebranded as the CW, the superhero shows made that big, but it was already established because of black shows. Malcolm and Eddie was one of them. You know what I'm saying? We make these networks call us in, have us, and they hire all these black writers, black actors, black producers, and then once we built, look at Lovecraft Country. When HBO made their streaming service,
that was my show.
Right, fantastic. A black writer, black director, black this, that, and the other, everything black, right? And it's an absolutely fantastic show. It put HBO Max on the map and made it what it is today. One season, nominated for all the awards, canceled as soon as they got successful. Once HBO Max got enough subscribers, canceled it. Even though it was nominated for everyone, all the awards, someone from that show was nominated for. Every category. We build these networks. They called us in to build these networks up. But the thing is, once we want to build something like my sports apparel brand, I want to surpass Nike. I want to make Reebok, Nike, and Adidas look like 13-year-old worn out dog chew t-shirts. Right? So I can't market just to black people. I know that. I got to market to everybody. Right. And when it comes to marketing, I have to blow money on it. I'm not going to have a single dime left in my budget because I'm going to have what I have for production and everything and everyday use and everything. The rest of it, straight marketing. I want everybody on the planet to hear about my brand.
Mandrell, let me help you because I also have an e-commerce brand. You don't need to do all that. All you need to do is just get KOL. We call them KOLs here, right? But influencers with about 1,000 subscribers or less. Give them your things, have them wear it, promote your brand, and they'll do it free because their following is small, but their following is loyal. You do that, and then you can build your business that way. Asian, white, black, whatever. Just get people with small followings, give them your stuff for free, then do Facebook ads, right? We have WeChat ads here, but you do Facebook ads, and you can probably do all that for about $3,000, right? And then you'll turn over with $3,000 in marketing like that. You can probably do about 10. If you have a Shopify store, you can probably do about 10K, 15K a month in sales.
So
okay, thanks for that.
But so based off what y'all guys are saying, y'all believe this is more to Mandrell and Canadian Born. You should go outwards, work with other communities to build your brand, and bring it back to the black community. Is that what I'm hearing?
I would say that I'm not saying that, but we have to be real with ourselves because let's be honest. The first time we emphasized supporting our black business during the modern time was during the 90s when you have shoe fashion, F&F, fabric and fashion, all these other entrepreneurs who came out during the 90s, cross colors. Yeah, it was to fade until one point. Then after that, all the suddenly all support this do it all the way. We had Fubu, a black-owned fashion company.
He
How
sold it to
long did
white
that
people.
last?
He sold it to white people.
And I get that because I watched these things, I observed these things, especially in New York. New York City is like the fashion headquarters of the world. One of my other high school friends, she started a clothing line. I don't think anybody know this one called You Lingerie. It's a lingerie for pregnant women. It's owned by a Nigerian woman who marketed out to a bunch of celebrities. I hate to say it, but we ain't thought it was correct. A lot of celebrities wear her clothing line. For the past 5 to 6 years, she have come to Manhattan and went to Walway and had her line showing every year. But she grew it from somewhere first. She had to market to somebody who put it out there.
See, but
Some of
what
my
what are,
class, no, some of my classmates are doing it. Some are doing within themselves. It depends on how you go about it. But we
what
got to look at that community as a whole. That how
what
often do we circulate our dollar within the black business? How often do we support it more and make sure that thing grows? Because Willa Martin did a complete class about supporting our circulate the dollar because he mentioned it like Ebony Magazine, SM Magazine. We have how many magazines back in the 80s and 90s that we used to love and read?
I saw that. I saw his broadcast of that. You're right.
What
I saw.
happened?
Yeah.
Come to
Okay.
find out, a lot of these media have government grant, government funding, and they allow them to grow. But we did our own black owned didn't get the government grant nor the funding. It was supported by the sales that we put our money in. Now you can shake your head because, but one of my book, these things, I understand how the IT arena work on the back end, how they make them and how they lease product and stuff from that. Because if you were to that on the kid, you had to work there to understand how thing works. You got to climb up the rank and know how things operate. For to me to tell Walmart is wrong, they got working media for how long? Who am I to tell him he's wrong about what he's talking about? I've been in IT for 20 years. Mandrell have been in the military. He understand what he's talking about. So when he shared these knowledge, and you never been, you go tell that person you don't know what you're talking about. You know how that sounds? We
well,
ain't
I'm not.
signing it. We ain't signing it global. He been traveling back. He been to Kenya. I remember he would say that. Then he worked in
Hmm.
Shanghai, China. So he know what he talk. He was our power at the black community. We have people who are well seasoned in their craft, who trying to grow something, and they trying to put it out there. Not trying to tell. They trying to reach to our people first. Our people make it hard for us to support ourselves. Let's be honest.
That's
So I
facts.
get what
That's
you're
true.
saying. I'm being logical. This is not about being emotional. Everything. Let's look at the fact. Look at the logic. How do these business grow? How did the business get so successful? Tyler Perry, I give him props. He did it in a way, but yes, a lot of us did support him. But what are us
But
support him
I
alone?
believe what I'm saying is that I spend my dollars with people who spend dollars with me. So this idea that like I have a lot of other races that I do business with, and what I'm saying is that I'm not gonna say, "Hey, come spend money with me," then I'm not gonna go spend money with them. I think it's a broken system. There's no loyalty to the actual community that you in. But it's crazy that we're trying to paint this narrative, say, hey, go out and spend all you bring all their money in, then send it out of the community. If you understand how community work, you want that money going back to them, back to you, back to them, regardless of what their color is. And that was kind of what I was saying, is that if you got somebody who's not non-black supporting your business, I think it's wise to support back in their business, especially if they're spending their money with you.
And Eman,
Well,
I'll
no,
what you just said. No, hold on, hold on,
hold on.
hold on, hold on.
Let me hop in there. Let me hold on 1 second. Hold on. Uh, I okay. Let me say it this way. It's a win-win situation to do business with each other. I will agree with Emmanuel on that. But when we talk about corporate social responsibility, I disagree. Now, even though it's really screwed up how black people treat people like you and me or people like us, we do have a social responsibility to the next generation, right? So for example, if somebody asks me, okay, build a community for people our age, I will say no, screw that. But if you ask me, build for the future generations, Gen A or the generation after that are black, I would. Because as a 40-year-old, a 40-plus-year-old man, I'm the leader. We're one of the wise men and leaders of the black community, and it is men's responsibility to make it better for the future generations. It's not my responsibility to make it better for this generation. That was the fathers and the grandfathers before us. But as a black man, we do have a responsibility to put our kids, black children, in a better situation, both a position of power and privilege than what we came from. So in that aspect of social responsibility or corporate social responsibility, I would say as a black person, I do owe the future kids that. I don't owe my generation that or the 20 somethings. But so it's a yes and no for me. Should I do business with people who have done business with me because they're not black? Yes, because that's going to bring me back more business. That's smart and strategic. But when it comes to corporate responsibility, as far as um, donations, sponsorships, charity work, then that needs to go to children of my race, because as a black man, I do have a responsibility to help put the future generations in a better position than what we were born in. And if more black people did that, then the black community would be more willing to, work and spend amongst each other, right? When it comes to the children. But I agree with you when it comes to us. But for the children, we still have an opportunity. 8-year-olds and down, right? We could teach them to be race loyal. We could teach them to buy your own first. So we do have a responsibility to change it at that level as men. And I'll close with that.
And
Right.
that's why I disagree with you at that last part where you say that I'm only going to, it's our responsibility just to spend money or our charity to go to just the black people. Anybody in need, I'm willing to invest in, especially if they got integrity.
Okay, fair enough. And that's how you hold on a second, William son, because I got to introduce Hakeem here. But just to put out there, E-Man, you're taking the same approach as Oprah and other people, other black people who got, and Kanye West, who other black people who got successful became billionaires, but never invested back into the community. But you want to point fingers at them. I'm not saying you're pointing fingers,
but
just saying that's what Oprah does.
That's such a bad example, because if you really study Oprah and the amount of black kids she done put through college is unbelievable. So for us to make it, so for us to for us to paint this picture that these wealthy black people are not invest there. See, the problem is they're investing in more than just the black community, but they are investing back into our communities too. It's just only.
I get you. Steve Harvey does a lot, and he does it a lot. He does it quiet. That's why we don't know about it. But
they do.
Yeah, Roland Martin does too. But Oprah's a double agent, hands down. Hakeem, the Dream. I don't know what your last name. I would announce that too. But all right.
Yeah.
Hakeem, my man, thank you for coming up to the panel. Thanks for watching the show tonight. I was hoping to get a lot more people in, because I thought this would be a good one as far as image goes. And I brought up this place, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, because this could be the blueprint. Like, number one, the things they're doing, we definitely need to do. Period. We have to do this. Also, now we ain't signing. We have to operate on an international scale. Once we get this done, once we get people in politics, and you know what I'm saying, and we're growing and thriving, you have to operate on an international scale. We ain't signed and hadn't missed yet tonight, in my opinion.
We need a part two to this.
He's been firing them bullseyes. I want to get Hakeem.
We need a part two to this show.
Then I'm gonna, after you, David, I'm gonna go to Hakeem. Go ahead. David, Black David.
Well, I'm trying to tell you that right now, when I'm looking at this conversation, we need to have a part two to this show, because there's so much we haven't yet to touch on, and there's so much we can talk about. And I believe we should do a recap next week on this and continue where we left off, because there's so much idea. I respect what E-Man saying. What E-Man saying totally true. I get where he's coming from. I understand his point of view. As well as we ain't signing, but we need to figure out what kind of solution base we're gonna have for our community, and what kind of identity we're gonna have.
Okay, I'll do a breakdown. Yeah,
there's a lot of ideas I want to share.
This week, I'll do a breakdown of this whole thing, because again, this was my solution. This could be, again, this doesn't have to be the end. This could be the start. You know what I'm saying? But we have to do this regardless. And and like I said, I don't disagree when it comes to image. I told y'all last night, me and E-Man ain't finna disagree on image. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the, and me and E-Man agree on a lot, actually. may seem like we don't, but me and E-Man agree on a lot. But like image, nah, we ain't gonna disagree on that.
So,
Now, as far as implementation of something like this, and where to invest our money in, we might disagree on some of those points, but you know.
but no, man, and I want to just say this: Oprah have currently today invested $400 million sending people to college, and there's a lot of black people that's included into that. So why do we only talk about what she's doing overseas? Because she is doing a lot of things in our country too for black people.
Not for black people. Oprah, like I said, Oprah's a double agent. Hold on, me and son. Let me. I've introduced Hakeem. He has not had his chance to contribute yet. Let's give the brother his time on the mic. Hold your thought though, we ain't signing. I want to hear your rebuttal to that. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Hakeem the Dream. What do you have for us tonight?
How you
man?
doing?
All right.
Good. Is my audio okay?
Yeah, fine. We hear you. Hakeem Olajuwon.
Okay. All right.
Let's get it.
Okay. So I think I love this topic. I'm a solution-oriented based person as well too. I think tonight I agree with you, Mandrell. I also agree with Canadian Born. He's made some good points. And also we ain't signing, from a global perspective, with his experience in Africa and Asia, he makes on good points as far as seeing things from a global perspective. And that's when we had that whole topic as far as ADOS versus immigrants and such. I think that was the point that We Ain't Saying It was trying to make, and that I was trying to elaborate, is that we need more global alliances, and we need to think in a global perspective. Now, the thing is that I think I brought up a book in the chat that I think the name of the author was Charles Blow, where he made he actually made a book and suggested that blacks congregate and move to the South because of the numbers of blacks already being large in mostly southern states. Because I believe maybe 60 something or maybe near 70% of blacks are concentrated in the southern states. So I agree with things like that, because when you look at it from a standpoint as far as dollar circulation, I kept spamming that in one of the shows you guys did a couple of weeks ago or so, that the black dollar only circulates 6 hours in the black community, 21 days in the Jewish community, and 30 days in the Asian community. If I'm not, it's the Asian community. So it doesn't even circulate a whole day. So if we start out with that, it's like every single one of us who are business minded and solution oriented, we need to put that on a bookmark or some sort of sticky note and put that in front of us to know what kind of situation we're in. If we don't do that, we don't know the whole battle that we're facing, the uphill battle. Now, that's something that you can articulate in quantified terms as far as how we're doing in our situation. Until we grasp that concept and what it means, because you can see that, and some people don't know how to articulate what that means. That means when I get money from profits or such, if I own a business, I turn that around and spend that on another black business. That's what that means. But if you're just thinking about it as, well, I get the money, it doesn't matter who I spend it with, you've just null and voided your impact on your community. And again, to whom much is given, much is owed. With great power comes great responsibility. Those of us like our brother E-Man, we ain't signing, and Mandrell, you're trying to start a business. The onus is on us to better our communities. And yes, I agree with we ain't signing. We have to be judicial and prejudice on how we give that money and how we forward it to, and how we paid forward. So that's just my initial argument on this topic.
Thank you for that. And like E-Man, that I think most of the panel is going to agree where when you say, well, I'm going to support people who support me, that's the part of the mentality. That's the part I want to try to steer you away from, because Hakeem, he didn't miss either. Neither did we tonight.
Can I just want to reply, because E-Man is not wrong when he talks about spending money with people who spend money with you.
Yeah, exactly. He's not wrong.
Right. It makes sense, because that money comes back to you through co-marketing, whatever, right? You spend money with them, they spend money with you. Strategically, that makes sense, because, it's a win-win situation, right? Lack of a better term, right? because that's so cliche. But the point I'm kind of moving back to, and I'm not saying that Black entrepreneurs don't do that, because they do. Black entrepreneurs, Black business do give back to the community, right? But it needs to be in the right way, right? Because throwing money at a situation or problem doesn't really fix the problem, right? It needs to be systematic. And that's why I keep saying, when it comes to children 8 and below, as a businessman, and I think all Black businessmen do have a social responsibility to them. And notice I keep putting the cap at 8 years old, because those people you can train to put them in better situations. 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds going to college is not going to really fix that. You do give them a leg up as far as moving out of poverty, but we don't have a poverty situation, because according to the numbers, Black men and Black people are doing better, right? We're moving up. We're more educated than incarcerated, right? All the metrics we're doing better. However, the problem is, what we seem to have is a social and a cultural problem, and that relies at 8 years old and below, right? Where we need to fix the situation where Black people are the only people that can actually make more money and do better as a startup outside of their community than inside the community, right? That's a cultural problem, right? More than it is a financial or economic problem. And to fix those things, it has to be worked at from ages 8 and below. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that Steve Harvey doesn't give, or Oprah. Of course they do. Even I own an orphanage in fucking Mombasa, Kenya, right? Just because I make money there, and because I make money there,
Mombasa.
I give back. Right, I
Yeah.
give back to the community for 2 reasons. In case they say, "Oh, you foreigner, you just come here and make money, whatever," I can point to that orphanage and say, "No, a lot of the money I get from the community, I reinvest back into your future, folks." Right? So it's necessary. It's necessary to do that. But however, I also give to a science program back in Philadelphia that I attended to, right? That I did when I was a kid. I give back there, and I give more money there, because that's what I owe there as a leader and as a Black man in the community. However, so you have to do both, right? You have to do both, because it's strategic. But we need to be doing things in the right way. That's all I'm saying. So I'm not really disagreeing with E-Man, because it does make sense, right? If you're in these communities making money, they care, right? They care because they feel as though, if I spend money, you do have some sort of social responsibility. Same thing here in China, right? I donate money to orphanages here, because if I ever get that day where they're talking about foreigners just come in and make money, I can say, well, hey, I help you guys out because I do A, B, and C. So it is strategic, and it's necessary for business survival. However, cultural survival, we need to do the same thing in ours, despite the fact that they say fuck us, fuck you in the startup stage.
Right.
We ain't signing. Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry about that. That's what E-Man, I was saying I want to try to steer you in a different direction. Not saying you're wrong, just saying, like, yeah, that part there could go left real easy. I just don't want you to do that. Spend money with people who spend money with you. Support people who support you, but I'm just saying, all I'm saying is, don't take your eye off the prize with that one. So we ain't signing. I ain't saying you're wrong. You're definitely not. But just don't let that blind you. You know what I'm saying?
I think my eye is just on a different prize, and it might sound bad that when I say that, but my job is that the businesses in the community that I live in does not shut down. When you go into a lot of Black neighborhoods, especially in the South where I was from, the local grocery stores is shutting down. Everything around they want to support.
Now, E-Man, absolutely. I agree, because I still to this day see that. And here's the thing: I'm running low on time here, so I'm gonna have to get everyone's final thoughts. Everyone. This has been so good, and Hakeem and E-Man, we ain't signing shit. Black David, I'm gonna do a part 2 of this next week. Black David, you brought a good point. We do need to do a part 2 on this, and I'm gonna do a part 2 on this next week. All right, definitely. So for now, Hakeem, I know you got something to contribute. Let me get your final thoughts on everybody. We're gonna start with Hakeem. Go.
Yeah. I definitely like these kind of talks, because it gets us in a step of moving in the right direction. I think individually, not everyone's gonna marry and find a black counterpart to marry and build that generational wealth. And I don't shame those who weren't able to, because you got to do what's best for you on your foot forward. Put your best foot forward. Now, what I challenge us to do, regardless of whatever decision we make, is we have to have that community mindset, but not to our detriment. But we have to kind of think of it in a positive way. So our brother Eman, he's clearly trying to do some good things, and I think his mind is in the right place. This is one of those topics I kind of disagree with him at, but I see where he's coming from. But the thing is that if we look at it realistically, when certain Asian types of businesses come into the black community, they don't care about it enough to contribute to that community. They just take, and they don't give back. And again, is that more their fault? No, it's shame on us for not demanding more. That's the mindset we have to have. And so if we don't look at the mindset, and we have this mindset that, oh well, it doesn't matter, it's about who's next to me and such, those communities are going to win because they're on a code, and they have a code of ethics to support each other. And if that's why we're going to be the beggars if we don't have the right mindset. So I just want to challenge each of us, and to do our part. And that's what, someone like myself, I do things behind the scenes, but that each of us have a responsibility and obligation to somehow give back, and especially to people that looks like us, because at the end of the day, when we were growing up, I don't think many of us had that given back to us from a variety of different circumstances. So I just think I like topics like this because there's different solutions and there's one way to skin a cat. But at the end of the day, the question should be, is it to the benefit of the black community, or is it to the detriment?
Right on. Good,
Yeah.
Good point. And like I say, I'm going to continue this next week, part 2. I think we might have one more person who wants to come up. And
can I give my final thoughts?
Yeah, okay? we ain't signing. Yeah, we ain't signing. You next for final thoughts.
Okay, so here's my final thoughts, and here's my part 1 of my final thoughts until the part 2. I should be able to make part 2 because we'll still be on lockdown, right? It's crazy, like we're not allowed to leave the compound. So here's my part 1. I can truly say that all of my success really has been someone outside of my ethnical or racial community that helped me, right? It was a white Jewish woman that got me into Wharton, right? It was an Asian woman that helped me build my business, right? It was another like Iranian guy that helped me to get into Harvard, right? Now I can do one of two things. I can say F the black community because y'all don't help me. You never helped me do anything. Because even now, when I wanted to grow my business, I offered to pay some prominent black people in the education system here in China to help promote my services. They didn't, right? So I can say F the community, or I can say, you know what? I don't want this for the children that's coming after me. And being successful is not thinking about what you wish would happen, but understanding what is, right? And that's the one key thing that made me successful in my businesses. I understood who would buy from me and who would not. I understand where I can solve problems for a profit and where I could not. I didn't wish, I didn't hope, I just understood it and make the correct decisions. And so what I'm trying to say in a very long-winded point, and I apologize, is this. E-Man is right, and a lot of people that come, like, because my wife is not black either, and a lot of people in my group have the same kind of feelings as E-Man, and to some point, I do have it. However, it's just about what do I want the next generation to be. And for me, I love privilege and I love power, and I understand one thing, that when black men are seen as powerful, educated, and privileged, that helps everybody, and that will help my children, right? So when blacks are seen like Asians, the smartest in the group, going to the best schools, or seen as Jews as excellent with finances, going to the best university, starting the greatest business ever, that is going to be beneficial to my kid. And for that reason, why I have to help, the youngest to create a future that is going to be better, and where black people don't approach each other with a level of vitriol and contentment, but with the spirit of teamwork. And I ask all of you black men to start working with children that are 8 and under and teaching them teamwork, teaching them to trust one another, teaching them how to have their each other's back, so that our children will be what we want it to be, because it was our grandfathers and our fathers that did not do that shit for us. Let's be better than them and let our future be better than us. And I'll close with that.
All right, we're gonna go up to the top. Thank you for that, both Hakeem and We Ain't Signing. We're gonna go up top. E-Man, what's your final thoughts for part 1 of the image solution?
The one thing I would say is this right here is I think to fix our images, we got to find a way to create our own communities. I have black people in my community. I have white people in my community. I have Asian. And I keep hearing this narrative that Asian people don't support black business. They keep all the funds in for themselves. And I can tell you, me being a black business owner, Asians have overly, matter of fact, one of my greatest customers who buy products from us is Asian. So it's just one of those things that, yes, the black image can be better, but we're not doing bad where we're currently at. And the one thing is, we can be better tomorrow without putting down our past. And I think that's the kind of the attitude we got to have move forward. So I appreciate you, Mandel, for actually having this conversation, because I believe that these are the conversations that we need to have. I think for so long we see us putting each other down, but we're not talking about solutions. And I think this is maybe the first time that it was a whole show dedicated to solutions, actually being able to do it. And I really appreciate that from you.
Thank you for that, E-Man. And like I said earlier in my first broadcast, this show, that's what I wanted to be based on. I wanted to be primarily, we debate issues all the time, problems all the time, but we don't debate solutions. Like I brought up this, like again, when I found this Pine Bluff, Arkansas, this was going to be my solution. This is going to be the bulk of the show, just me explaining to you how you implement this, and we need to get into the politics and impact legislation, blah blah blah. I didn't have to do that because I actually found it, and from that, you guys were able to come on the panel and build upon that, and that's the mindset I want to just steer people towards, thinking solutions based. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, you know what I'm saying? But you do have to own your own stuff. It's important, and it's important to reinvest back into your own, just like everyone else does. And now next, Black David, Canadian-born Nigerian. Final thoughts on part 1
On
of
part
the image
one,
solution.
first and foremost, I want to thank E-Man. I want to thank We Ain't Signing. I want to thank Hakeem. Yeah, I got some great point of view, some great ideas. I'll say this is the start of finding a solution. We need to be solution based because E-Man has some serious idea of how about investing in one another is totally true. But also, we ain't signing today it's a global market because I've been watching it for the past 2 years at another YouTube channel called What Am I? The guy is showing black acting on a global scale, not a national scale, but a global scale. And there are people working among themselves across the globe to make sure to build something within our own community. And I think we need to start thinking that way because if we don't realize this, this is our chance right now to make an impact, to do something great. Also, I want to say this Saturday we having a live broadcast at 1 p.m. for the SMB Corner Podcast Tech Talk. Um, I finally convinced my family to do it live. Right now we're looking for moderators who can help us out every weekend. So this is something also that part of the solution base as well to educate our people, to enlighten our people. We having a series talking about burnout, which we focus toward on the tech burnout. Because we heard about all other job burnout, like the medical field burnout, people in the teaching field, other police as well. But we never talk about what they feel like to be a tech, feel like they getting burnt out to the point they either walk away from the career or they get suicidal. We were talking about that right now. So this that'll be episode 2. I wish everybody can come out there, engage, and you have questions. We'll try our best to answer your question. We will make sure we touch every area of the topic we need to talk about because I want to create something that is impactful but helps grow our community to a next level of where we need to be. and I enjoy this part. I enjoy this panel. Man, Joe, you have an excellent show. I can say that right now. Black Man on First, you're a great producer, so I give you that too.
Thank you very much. I want to thank everyone on the panel for coming up with me tonight. I want to thank everyone on the chat and everyone who's watching this broadcast afterwards. Thank you for watching this broadcast. Again, like and subscribe, please, because your support does matter. It does have an effect. There's going to be more shows like this where we're solutions based. Just like this show in the beginning with Sir Hale, we had a little fun. We put a few people on trial for their crimes. Okay, the crimes against the community. We had a little fun, but essentially, this is a solutions-based show. Okay, I want to debate solutions. I want to debate implementation, the whole 9 yards. Okay, because once we begin to think in that fashion, we begin to act in that fashion, and that's all it takes. It starts with what's up here. All right, that's all I got for you tonight. Just tune in next week. It only gets better from here. Have a good night, everybody.